What's up, guys? Welcome back to the CoinBros, your guide through the greatest industry on this little tiny rock spinning through the universe in the simulation that we're all here together in. And I'm glad you're here with us. And today is the daily wrap up for Sunday. There's really nothing's changed in the market. We're sitting at 78K, around 78.2. We're all waiting for the Fed meeting tomorrow. That's Monday and Tuesday. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get good news. I could see us ripping to 80K pretty easily. And other than that, you know, it's a nice Sunday. I'm hanging out with my son back here. We're chilling. We're going to go to the park. But today I want to kind of, instead of give you guys a wrap up, I'm just going to tell you a story. And it kind of ties into, it's actually how I first made my first like million in the crypto industry. And it was pretty much by accident. And I wouldn't say by accident, but I didn't expect it, right? And a lot of the things that happen in crypto, it's you get in early and you don't really know how things are going to do if you're getting into the early projects, and then they can just go crazy if your timing's right. So this is a story how I got into NFTs, and it was really kind of by luck and just being in the right place at the right time. So I had never bought an NFT before. This is back in the day. This is, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. This is the beginning of the NFT craze, the cycle before the one that just passed. Every single cycle, there's something that comes up in the industry that just takes over the world, and everybody starts buying into it. And NFTs happen to be this cycle, the cycle I'm talking about. And I had a buddy that I was working with that said, hey man, I need you to get on your computer real quick. And I happened to be driving home, and I said, oh, okay, just tell me what to do. I don't really understand these NFTs, right? So he says, get home. I rush home. I get on my computer, and he says, okay, I need you to go into the contract, and you're going to have to type in some things, and you're going to have to mint these NFTs through the contract. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just did exactly what he said. And I minted about 45 or 50 of these NFTs through this contract, and I didn't know what they were. As soon as I got them, all it was these pictures with words on it. So it just said, it had like a list of like 10 words on each picture, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what the hell did you just tell me to buy, right? Like, I just spent like $500 on these silly little pictures that just have words on it. And it was a project called Loot for Adventure, and it was basically like a spin-off of a game that's, I guess, a famous game. And basically, if you get these words, you want to get like certain words on the list, right? That's kind of like the rarity. I didn't know what it was at the time. I'm thinking, man, I just got hustled. I just spent $500 on some silly words that don't mean anything. Obviously, it's just a paper with words, a digital paper. And so anyway, as soon as I buy them, they mint out, and they start going up in value, and they're going to, they're all worth $100 a piece now, $200 a piece. I'm thinking to myself, man, I just made $5,000, right? And oh no, 1 second, I'm going to crash. So I'm thinking, man, this is crazy. I just made freaking, a few $1,000s off these silly little words that I minted. So I sold a bunch of them. I got all my money back that I put in. I probably sold like 7, 8, something like that. And then I thought to myself, I'm just going to hold the rest of these since I'm kind of in the profit already. And they just start going crazy. They start being worth like 0.5 of an ETH. Then they started being worth 1 ETH. And then some of them started going up, and they were worth 20 ETH for an individual one of these NFTs. And then overnight, they just go crazy, and everybody's buying them. There's some that are selling for 50 to 100 ETH, right? So I end up selling them all at the peak, a lot of them, and I made an insane amount of money. I think it was over $1 million at one point, right? Obviously, I didn't keep all of that. Some went up and came back down. But the moral of the story is in this industry, that type of thing happens all the time in a bull run. And every time there's something new that hits crypto, people go crazy. And the way people throw money around in this industry is like something you've never seen before, right? It's like digits on a screen. So people will throw 10 ETH around, 100 ETH around like it's nothing. And I actually had a buddy of mine who's also minted them with me, and he accidentally sold all of his, and he ended up having some of the rarest ones, but he sold them for like a couple $100. They would have been worth like $100,000. So we did the math, and he would have made like $3 million off of like 500 at the time, but he had sold them all for a few grand, right? So he was pretty sick about it. But anyway, so the moral of the story is every single cycle, there's something new that comes around that becomes the craze. And it always happens in like a bear market moving into the bull run. And it happened with meme coins this past cycle. If you would have gotten into some meme coins really early, which I did because I've been in the industry for a long time, you could have seen 100x, 1000x, 10,000x gains in a very short amount of time. Something like a Pepe, I remember seeing Pepe at like 10,000 market cap, and it ran all the way up to like 10 billion. So just do the multiples on that, right? If I would have gotten into that, I actually didn't jump into that one. I wish I did. That could have been, life-changing money there. So the main thing with this industry, if you're not trying to just invest into the big coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, you want to look for what's coming next and what like the social energy is like surrounding around whatever's new. I don't know what it is yet, but there's always something coming. And the people that are like tapped in and really paying attention, you don't have to be a genius. You don't even really have to know how the industry works that well. You just got to be tapped into what's coming. And it's all timing, right? It's all timing and sometimes luck. So with that, it's very dangerous. There's a lot of ways to lose your money also. So I wouldn't say jump into just anything. But if you're well informed and you're in the right place at the right time, you could have a story like I'm telling you, right? And that's happened to me numerous times over the past 10 years. So it's not like, it's not catching lightning in a bottle. It happens every cycle. So it's a lot more on the degenerate side of things. But, the reality is most people that come into the space, they want to figure out how to make a lot of money with a little bit of money. And that's how you do it in the space, is just being early on things. And one of my goals is to make sure I can try to bring you guys whatever the next thing that's coming. I'm at least going to give you guys the information on it. And obviously you do what you want with your own money, but I'm pretty tapped in. I've been in the space for a long time. I'm very ingrained in the degen side of things also, as well as the macro stuff. I like playing every single angle in this industry. And we're going to do that too. As the market heats up, I'm going to start bringing you guys, just information on what I think is the new thing and what's coming, because that's where you make all your money. If you're trying to come in and, hit it, you're trying to hit it big, right? At the end of the day, you want to keep most of your money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, things that are big, that are a lot safer. But it's fun to play around too. I'll never tell people you shouldn't go play around and try to hit it big, right? Because that's the dream, right? Anyways, that's my rant for the day. We're gonna go see some animals and have a good time, man. Go kick it with my boys. You guys be nice to each other, and much love, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow with some good news, hopefully on the Fed meeting. Peace.